Alright, hello algebra class, this is Mr. Freeland. I'm going to go over quiz number 4. Hopefully you'll watch this video and you can come in tomorrow, that's Tuesday morning for AM support, and you can retake this quiz. It won't be the same quiz, but it'll be somewhat similar, so I hope this video is helpful to you. Number 1 is saying write 3 fractions equivalent to 2/7. So I can multiply 2 by 2 to get 4 and 7 by 2 to get 14. So 4/14. I can multiply 2 by 3 to get 6 and 7 by 3 to get 21. I could also multiply 2 by 4 to get 8 and 7 by 4 to get 28. There are other answers that are possible. Some of you took like 4/14 and doubled it to 8/28, and then you doubled that to 1656. There's hella fractions that are equivalent to 2/7. We say there's an infinite number of fractions equivalent to 2/7. Any 3 that you put would work. Next one is write 3 additional fractions equivalent to 3/4. So we're given 3 of them. And if you look at the pattern to what's going on here, it's increasing by 3 every time on the top, and we're increasing by 4 on the bottom. So if you continue with that pattern, you'd have 15/20, 18/24, and 21/28. All right? Okay. Now we get into adding and subtracting fractions. We know that we have to have a common denominator. 7 and 4 are not the same denominator. Okay? So if you look back to 2/7, which was number 1, you can see that we can represent 2/7 as 8/28. And we can represent 3/4 as 21/28. So 28 could be a common denominator for those things. So I could take 8/28 plus 21/28. Now I have a common denominator. I can add 21 and 8. I get 29, and then I get 29/28. Okay, so when we add and subtract fractions, we have to have a common denominator. Number 4, now we're asked to subtract these 2 fractions. They don't have the same denominator. So we have to make them the same. And so I guess the first thing you should do is look to see if 2 goes into 8, and it does. So that tells us that we can write 1/2 as something out of 8. 3/8 and 1/2 is 4/8. How did I get that? Well, I multiplied 2 by 4, and I multiplied 1 by 4. Okay, we do 3/8 minus 4/8, and we get negative 1/8. Okay, 4/8 is bigger than 3/8, and so our answer should be negative. All right, number 5. It asks you to add this, which is to the 1,000th place, and this is to the 10th place. One way to look at it is that 0.3 is the same as 300 thousandths. So all we have to do is add 452 and 300, and we get 2.752. All right, number 6. This caused a lot of trouble. In the list, numbers are increasing by the same amount. We have to fill in the missing numbers. So I guess what we should see is that we're going up by 1/5 from 0 to 1/5. So if I go up by another 1/5, I get 2/5. And then 3/5, and then 4/5. Okay? All right, let's look at B. B is a little bit more complicated. We're starting at 0, and then there's a blank, and then 1/6. So we need to go up by something here, and then go up by the same amount here. So we have to go up twice by the same amount. So we kind of have to go up by half of 1/6. Well, half of 1/6 is actually 1/12. So getting that number was kind of hard. So this is 1/12. 1/6 is 2/12. Then we'd get 3/12 and 4/12. And if we simplify these fractions, we get 1/4 and 1/3. Okay? So you really sort of have to think a little bit before you do these questions. You can't just dive into it and write down things without thinking. Okay, now number 7. Find each product using the distributive property. We did a couple of these in the opener. So I'm going to do 30 times a sixth plus 30 times 1/15. Much easier to do that than to try to add these two fractions. 30 times a sixth, so that's 1/6 of 30. It's the same as 30 divided by 6. That could be 5. And then we have 1/15 of 30. That's 2. 5 plus 2 is 7. Look at how easy that is if we use the distributive property. B, 14 times a seventh minus 14 times a half. 1/7 of 14 is like 14 divided by 7. That's 2. 1/2 of 14 is 7. 2 minus 7 is -5. All right, number 8. Let's use the distributive property again. We get 6 times a half. Half of 6 is 3. Plus 6 times something is equal to 4. Okay? So now I have this thing has to be 1. So 6 times what is 1? If you think about it, it has to be 1/6. So the answer there is 1/6. All right, number 9. And I wanted you to try to use a shortcut for number 9, not to do it the old-fashioned way. There's an easy way to do it. $15.98 is really close to $16. Okay, so we'll just say 16. And we know we're going to have to subtract out the 2 cents when we're done. $7.49 is really close to $7.50. Okay, so if I add up $16 and $7.50, I get $23.50. And I have to then subtract out the 2 cents that we were short of 16 here, and the 1 cent that we were short of 7.50. So this is 23.50 minus 2 cents minus 1 cent, that's minus 3 cents, 23.47. Okay? Try to use the shortcuts. Makes your life easier. If we line those numbers up, it's easy to make a mistake. All right. Last one, number 10. This was a bonus. Okay, some of you got it. Sasha put the square root of 10 on the number line at the point shown. So Sasha is saying the square root of 10 is equal to 5. Is that true, is the question. Well, what is a square root? A square root is a square root of something is giving us the number that we have to multiply by itself to get what we're taking the square root of. So is 5 times 5 equal to 10? No. Okay? That's how we know Sasha is wrong. Because 5 squared is not equal to 10. It's equal to 25. So, let's try to put square root of 10 on the number line correctly. Well, here's something we do know. The square root of 9 is 3. The square root of 16 is 4. 10 is between 9 and 16. So the square root of 10 has to be between 3 and 4. And it should be a little bit closer to 3 because 9 is really close to 10. So I'm going to put it about right there. Okay? At a minimum, we know it's between 3 and 4, and we should be able to figure out that it's a little bit closer to 3. All right, so I hope that this video was helpful. I hope you take advantage of this resource. I hope you come to AM Support tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. You can retake this quiz, and hopefully that'll help your grade. I'll see you tomorrow.